Hi everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Endogenesis. This is designed by David Go. The artwork is also by David Go and Yang Shanjan, and it is published by Hyperlixer.
All right, you guys, this game has a really cool kind of a backstory. I want to just give you a really quick bullet points version of it because I like it so much. All right, so you are these kind of cosmic spirits all floating in your own little dimension, right? And what's going to happen is you eventually get bored of all the peace and prosperity that your little dimension has. So you literally tear holes in the fabric of your dimension, the fabric of your reality. You go out and explore the multiverse, right? And you find machines, you learn about machines. You go find trees, you learn about trees. You find violence, you learn about violence, And then you come back home to your dimension. But guess what? Because of the because of the holes that you tore in your dimension, all these evil beings showed up and they're wrecking the place, and now you have to fight them. But on top of that, every time you fight one of these things and kill it, you absorb some of its kind of lust for power. So then, not only are you fighting off more and more of these monsters that keep on showing up, but also now you kind of want to take out all your other opponents, your other people that you're in the same dimension with. So, kind of a last man standing kind of a situation. This game looks spectacular on the table. Let me give you a hint of what it looks like when it's all laid out. Alright, here's our setup for Endogenesis. We've got 3 decks of cards. We've got our Realm of Chaos, which is where all of our monsters are going to come from. There's also going to be some events and distortions, which can kind of play with the rules a little bit. We've got our Realm of Knowledge. This is going to be where all of our skill cards comes from, along with some artifacts that are going to help us out. Over here we have the Realm of Wonder, which is basically some rewards that you can earn as you level up your characters. And then we also have over here, we have some classes. These class cards are something that you're going to be able to earn as you get a certain amount of skills in play. We have our own health tracker, as well as we have the monster health tracker on the board there. We have our bag full of shards. This is going to be one of the currencies we use in the game to kind of level up all of our skills. We've got a little player aid as well. This is going to help us on our turns. This is the energy that we're going to use to charge up some of our skills and be able to use them. And this is the whole point of the game right here, is these prisms. You're trying to get to 3 prisms in the standard play. I should point out there's 3 versions of this game. Basically, we're going to go over the standard version of the game, which is for 2 to 3 players. There's also a small cooperative version for 1 to 2 players, or there's even a bigger tactical version for 3, 4, or 5 players. So they all are kind of basically using the same rule set as the standard, which is what I'm going to show you. But keep in mind there's going to be some rule changes based off of what version of the rules you play. At the beginning of the game, we're going to get some of the Realm of Knowledge cards that have this kind of blue triangle at the very, very top of them, showing that they are kind of starter cards. You're going to get dealt some of those. You're going to choose 2 of them. It's always good to have things that match up. So let's go with 2 of the organic ones. We try to earn a reward there. And then you're going to be dealt 4 more of the regular cards. And you're going to be able to keep all of these. And then you're going to have a hand of 6 cards to start the game off with. All right, before the game starts, you get a chance to start some of your skills off. Let's just place those there. And you have also 3 of these shards as well. You can use these shards in order to upgrade skills. For instance, this one here, if you put a shard underneath it, the card says deal 1 to all enemies. Deal 1 damage to all enemies. If you have a shard underneath it, it's deal 2. It also has some healing built into it, and the more shards you have, the more healing. So you can upgrade it like that in order to make it even stronger. You can also spend shards on your turn to bump up your health. For every shard you spend, you're going to boost up your health 1 spot. And at the very end here, you have these little symbols here. That's from the Realm of Wonder. So whenever you get to the 5, 10, or 15 point health markers, you're going to be able to draw a card from that Realm of Wonder, which is going to be some kind of benefit to you. This one, for instance, says you can spend this to restore 5 health and deal 3 damage to all enemies. That's a cool bonus card that you get that you earn when you get to those certain health bonuses. Alright, then, from the Realm of Chaos, we're going to start some cards off until we get to a monster. So this one says, this is an event, all players gain a shard. So there's going to be some good events that happen in there. Keep that in the discard pile there. Flip over another one here. Alright, we've got our first monster. At the top right, it shows it has a max of 5 health. So we're going to put our max health there at 5, and then the actual health token itself on 5 as well, because it hasn't lost any health yet. Some monsters will do damage as soon as they come up. This one does do that. It says deal 1 to all players. So we're going to move our health down 1. Alright, and then we're ready to go. On our turn, we can do things like play artifacts. This particular one says, let's see if we can get it to pull up here, gain 2 of the energy and restore 2 health. So we can put that in the discard pile to gain 2 energy tokens and restore our health. These little energy tokens are what we're going to be able to use to make our skills happen. So this particular skill takes 3 energy in order to make it work. And since we've already upgraded it by putting some shards underneath it, this might be a good one to use. Alright, so we still only have 2 though. We need to get some more. The other way we can get energy is these cards themselves. So at the very top right, they have an energy value. So instead of playing them as a skill that's down below, here it's active, you can discard them for their energy cost. So let's discard this one. This is an ultimate. Doesn't really do us a lot of good right now. Let's take the energy. We now have 5 energy. We can spend 3 of it on this. We're going to rotate that to the side here to show that we've used it. And we're going to do 3 damage to all players. So let's say in a 2-player game, it would be our opponent across the table from us, as well as to the monster. Alright, and then it also says, restore health for each target successfully damaged. Alright, so we're already at full health, but we get a chance to refresh our health there. Now the reason it says successfully damaged is because even though you can do damage to someone, there are cards like this that say they are reaction cards. This one says it redirects the effects of an incoming skill towards the monster instead. So let's say our other player had something like this in front of them. They revealed it, they flipped it over. They'd have to come up with some energy through the use of artifacts or discarding some cards because actually all these energy tokens, at the end of each round, they go away. So by the time it comes back to my turn, they're not going to have any energy. So they're having to find ways to get energy. But either way, let's say they're able to come up with it, and they have this in front of them. They can flip it over to reveal that, in fact, they will not be taking damage. They're going to spin that damage back to the monster instead. So that's kind of a cool thing you can do. When you have reaction cards, they go face down in front of you like this to show that you have some reaction, but you don't know necessarily what it's going to be. So we spent the 3 there to make that one happen. Now this one only costs 2, so we can spend our last 2 energy to make that one happen. That one says lose 2 health, but if you do that, you could deal 2 damage to 2 enemies. Well, guess what? That kills this guy. 1, 2, he's dead. So take a look at the monsters. The monsters, if they have an initiative value, that's what happens when they first come up. If there's an active value, that's what happens on their turn. So basically what's going to happen is all players get a chance to take their turn, and then whatever monster is active does their damage next. Also, there's some things that might have Death Cry. Death Cry means basically this is when you kill it, this happens to you. So this one says deals 2 damage to its slayer. Whoever killed it is going to take 2 damage. Also, when you kill it, you're going to get some rewards. There is going to be ones that have, it has shards. It says draw a card as well. And this is how much starting health it has in the top right of the card. So that's going to be what happens with the monsters. Whenever you kill a monster, what you're going to do is you're going to draw over more cards until you find a new monster and resolve them all. Alright, so here is an event. All players draw a card. Well, that's cool. Whenever a game says to draw a card, it's always from the realm of knowledge. Keep on going. I'll draw another card. Nice. Okay, here's another monster. Has 6 health. It does not have an initiative skill, which means it does not hit us when it first comes out, but on its turn, it's going to do various things. In addition to the events that we saw that gave us positive things, there's also going to be distortions that can come out there. Distortions basically are in play until a new distortion comes out. And they could be good things, they could be bad things, they are wild. So basically, as soon as a distortion comes out, you just place it up here on the board, and at the end of every turn, you do whatever it says. So for the first part of the game, you're just trying to kill some of these smaller monsters, you're trying to raise your health stats, you're trying to get some good skills out there, and you're trying to add on some of these shards in order to make your skills even more effective. Eventually, though, there's going to come a point where you see a monster that is a legendary monster. All right, here's one right here. So this legendary monster, first of all, when you get to, the kill mark, there's all your kill stuff. It actually has stuff at the halfway point as well. When you get down to 5 damage, you're going to get some rewards as well. So that's not just about killing it. Alright, but when you do kill it, you finally have these little purple symbols here, which are shards. That's the whole point of the game. If you get to where you have 3 shards, you win the game. If there comes a point, let's say in a 2-player game, where I have 2 points, or I have 2 shards, and my opponent has 2 shards, the game can end that way as well. What you do then is you add up all the victory points that you've earned in the game. So the victory points are all the shards that you've collected. Also, all of your health points that you have are going to be worth points as well. In this bottom row here, they're a little bit more expensive to earn. They cost 2 shards instead of just 1. However, at the end of the game, they're worth 2 victory points if it comes that way. If you want to avoid the victory point end of the game, then you just try to get to 3 shards. Or 3 of those prisms. If you get to 3 prisms, the game ends immediately and you're declared the winner. I do want to point out the classes over here. These are special cards that you can earn. They're really nice, just kind of these foil cards. But they say things like, it requires 4 mythic skills. So there's all different types of skills. This one requires 4 mythic skills, 3 basic and 1 ultimate in order to take this. But once you have it, you get some rewards. So first of all, when you earn this, you get an extra turn. And then from here on out, you can discard cards to refresh a basic skill, which is really nice. And all of them have their own special abilities and rewards for when you first get them. So that is the standard version of the game. Don't forget there's a couple other versions as well. But in this version, first to 3 skills wins. Otherwise, if 2 or more players get to 2 of those prisms, then in that case, what's going to happen is you're going to count your victory points off, whereas the most victory points wins the game.
The artwork and graphic design on this game were amazing. Like, absolutely stellar. Like, I felt like you could get a lot of the stuff as prints. Like, that's just how I felt when I saw it. I felt like it wasn't like I was looking at work for a board game. I was just looking at art when I was looking at this. I do want to touch on that more in a little bit, but for right now, I just thought it was really cool. And there was another space-themed game that we played where you're trying to, rehabilitate planets. And the monsters in there, like, totally creeped me out, and I couldn't. I mean, the artwork was done really well. Don't get me wrong; it was done so well.
It took too realistic of these
I could not look. Yeah, I could not look at a lot of the creatures. But in this one, all the creatures are silhouettes, so you're not actually like looking at the details of them. So that worked for me.
This game was really, really easy setup. There's basically just kind of 3 decks. You had your shuffling deck, you shuffle up deck that you had as your kind of like your reward deck, a deck that you shuffled up. Once you get some of the beginner cards out to the players, and then that was your deck that you drew from the rest of the game. And then you also had your kind of your chaos deck, your bad deck. You had to seed the top of it with some of the beginner starter decks to kind of get you going. Other than that, it's just to shuffle those 3 decks, and you're ready to roll.
Yeah.
So that was a really, really easy setup, which made it just ready to jump right in.
Once I understood this game and once I knew how to play this game, it was actually quite seamless. Once that happened, the rules and the gameplay was simple, not simple as in like doled down, but just streamlined simple. Brian, why don't you take it from here?
Yeah, like Bethany said, this game, once you were playing it, was actually really, really fun and interesting and seamless. But for whatever reason, the rulebook to me did not teach very well. It did not give me what I needed to learn in the order that I needed to learn it in. I felt like I was really floundering through kind of teaching this and going through the motions of it. I ended up setting it up. I had to watch a video. I had to read the whole rule book. I had to then stumble through a play of it.
Yes.
A really, really, really frustrating play where
I almost stormed off.
Yeah,
actually.
we were like we kind of hated this game at that point.
Yeah, I was ready to write it off.
So we decided to regroup. I reread the rules again, reset it up again, kind of analyzed the whole thing over again. Found some things we had missed because they were in weird places, not where I expected them to be. And then we were able to bring it to the table again, play it again and again and again, and enjoyed it all those times after I went through that huge grind of learning it.
Yeah. Well, and we couldn't find, we had questions, like you do every time you play a game, and we couldn't find the answers because it just didn't make sense. The answers were there, it just didn't make sense as to where they were. Like, it was very, very difficult.
Yeah, there's also 3 styles of gameplay too, right? There's the standard, there's the, I can't remember what you were called, but the point is there's 3 styles of game in this one box. And so there's like rules that were different and little twists to each one of them based on what you were playing, and that made it a little bit more confusing, a little more harder to find things and which word am I using at this time, and it was a big learn for a simple game. Which is not simple in like an insulting way, but simple in like in a Streamline, yeah. It was just easy to play. And that didn't match up to me. That was very difficult.
So I mentioned before that I just thought the artwork and graphic design was absolutely lovely, and I still stand true to that statement. I did feel, however, that sometimes the loveliness overtook the readability of things. There were a few cards, those like souped up cards when you're able to get X amount of stuff. There's just people in our life that I wouldn't be able to play this game with because the shininess of it, that almost like 3D aspect of it, they would not be able to read the text that's on the card. They just wouldn't. They couldn't do it. And here I am. I mean, I obviously am wearing glasses, but besides that, I don't have any vision problems, and I still was like, what is happening with this? So I just think that there's an impairment there. And then, like Ryan said earlier, if we weren't reviewing this and we just set it up to play, I wouldn't have even bothered. I would not have even bothered. I would just pack it up and send it on its way, try to give it to somebody. Because it was just so much to get through. I didn't understand what was happening. Once I did, it was fun. You know, it made sense. I liked it. I liked building up these things and trying to manipulate the cards and put different things in. Like, I got it once I got it, but it was so hard for me to get to that point that if we weren't reviewing this, I don't know if I would have gotten to that point.
Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, now that I know it, I like it a lot. You know,
Yes.
it's really, really interesting and intriguing, and it goes by, the turns clip by really, really fast, and each monster brings a new challenge. I really enjoy that part of it. So if you can get past that learn, and hopefully my little overview kind of helps with that a little bit too, at least conceptually, I think you're going to find yourself having a great time. And on top of that, there's also an expansion, Endogenesis Beyond, which adds some new cool things. So first of all, it has a new class, right? So there's those class cards. This one has what they call the Voltaic Plane class. It adds this ability to charge up abilities, these skill cards. So, you know, every turn you kind of, the more you wait to use it, the more you build up these charge tokens, and then you can fire off this whole big, huge skill card with a whole bunch of skill, the charge tokens on it to do a bunch of damage, or whatever the case is. So that was really, really cool. There's also just more variety. There's more of the encounters, there's more monsters, there's more events, more the distortions, all that kind of stuff. There's also the ability to augment your skills. So you're limited to 4 skills. However, now you can add these kind of modifiers to existing skills to make them even better, which I thought was great.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching it. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us on Facebook, we're Ryan Bethany Board Game Reviews. On Twitter, we're Ryan and Bethany 1. On Instagram, we are Ryan and Bethany, and we are now on TikTok under Ryan and Bethany.
You guys, thanks so much for watching. We will see you next time.
Bye.